one of the biggest achievements was developing an online play-based learning program for refugee children who were not able to access in-person education. Everyone was not believing that online learning will work with children. It was a big challenge. They were living in very difficult conditions. They live in camps. Most of the time they don't have electricity, they don't have Wi-Fi. For any program to succeed, make sure that you address the needs of your audience. Otherwise, it's gonna be very difficult. It is about the child. It's not us, it's not them, it's the child.
Hello everyone from Europass again. And today here with us is Siwar. Siwar joined us quite recently. It's actually the first time that I meet her myself. So I'm really excited to get to know her together with you. Hello Siwar, welcome.
Hello, thank you.
So tell us about when did you join Europass and what are you currently working on in Europass?
I joined Europass recently. This was like in July 2025. I moved to Belgium and now I'm training teachers in Brussels and Ghent. I teach different courses, AI courses, leadership courses, conflict management courses, and I'm also teaching the project writing courses as I have previous experience in project writing. So I'm different courses.
Okay. And tell us about your experience. How did you gain your experience in education that allow you now to work at Europass?
I've been for 15 years in this field and it's a field that I really love. I started my career as a pre-primary teacher with the little ones, and then I worked for a school in the curriculum development department where we were shifting our books to digital books. So I was part of the curriculum development team. Then in my home country in Lebanon, we had a refugees crisis and I shifted towards working with non-governmental organizations to help refugee children access education. So I started designing programs for refugee children as well as capacity building activities for teachers to be able to support those children. And one of the biggest achievements was developing an online play-based learning program for refugee children who were not able to access in-person education due to many factors. COVID was a main factor. Also, like in some areas, schools were not accessible. So we had to make sure that children are receiving education. So we decided to go for the online program. It was a challenge at the beginning, but then it worked and children were really happy and they were learning.
So you've put together like 3 or 4 things that usually terrorize teachers. So it's curriculum development,
yes,
play-based,
yeah,
online,
yes,
for refugees. So in a
yes,
very challenging situation.
yes.
What was the biggest obstacle?
The biggest obstacle was that everyone was not believing that online learning will work with children. It was a big challenge. How will you guide parents to implement play-based learning with their children? How are you going to do play-based learning online? It's already a challenge inside the classroom. And you have teachers who do not believe in play-based learning. They believe that learning is something and play is something else. They look at them as 2 separate activities. So a lot of challenges, and we do not have something in literature that proves that children who are 5 or 6 years old can learn online. So we didn't have something to get back to or a strong reference. So it was challenging all over.
So it was like your intuition, meaning
Yes.
you had to convince everyone.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And other obstacles, what were the things that you had to consider?
Caregivers, the parents who were we were delivering the program to children through their caregivers. They were living in very difficult conditions. They live in camps. Most of the time they don't have electricity, they don't have Wi-Fi, a lot of people live in the same room. Some of the parents do not have even any educational background. So convincing parents to receive this program was also a challenge. But when you talk their language and when you understand their needs and you address them, you can succeed. And this is what we did. Like, we considered the needs of the parents so they are able to deliver this program to their children. And we trained teachers. It was not only about training teachers, we were following up with teachers on daily basis. Continuous professional development, continuous coaching, and the most important thing, continuous support, because teachers really need support to be able to do such a program or to implement such a program. So, for example, with the parents, it was not like, we're doing the activities right now, you have to be available. We grouped parents in WhatsApp groups and then we started calling them 3 times per week. Grouping them in WhatsApp groups was their preference because everyone knows how to use WhatsApp, and when we asked them, they were fine using WhatsApp. Then the calls were scheduled as per their availability. So you'll see that some parents were receiving the call at 8 a.m., others were receiving the call at 8 p.m. Also, we made sure that the activities were very simple. Any caregiver can do the activity with their child. So we didn't need any kind of material that is not available at home. Parents did not need to buy any kind of material. The instructions to do the activities were very simple. Again, even parents without any educational background can do the activities with their children. And teachers were following up with those caregivers on daily basis. Daily phone calls, daily WhatsApp messages, and answering all their questions, providing all needed support. Also, the teachers were talking to the children and children were talking to each other. And what was really interesting, that parents in the same group started talking to each other and sharing experiences. This worked, did not work, try this with your child. I tried this with my child, it worked. So
yes, of course. Yeah. You said the parents preferred WhatsApp as a form, and I'm curious, did you ask them?
Yes.
How did that go?
Yeah, we have facilitators or in the field who know the community. The facilitators were from the community. They did home visits. They did a survey. What platform do you prefer? How many times would you like us to call you per week? At what time are you available to have our calls? Yeah, everything was according to their preference. We didn't impose anything on the parents, and I think this was one of the factors that helped the program to succeed.
For sure. This is a very different from what normally happens in school, usually. And it's strange because when we're talking about preschool education, the parent is still a very central figure in the educational relationship.
Yeah.
Now, the parent is still very much present in the interactions with the teacher, and yet many times the preferences or the needs of the parents are completely disregarded, and the parents who are unable to comply with all the school's requests that are not being discussed with the parents, then they are just labeled. No, the parent doesn't care, that parent is lazy, that parent is uninterested. And instead, sometimes there are some real obstacles for the parent to participate in the school life of their child.
For any program to succeed, make sure that you address the needs of your audience. Otherwise, it's gonna be very difficult. And what we really did with those parents is that we also did a parenting program with them. Like we were delivering one session per week on different topics like child development, play-based learning. These were quick sessions, interactive sessions, also over WhatsApp with the parents, just to educate them on the importance of play-based learning, schooling, child development, and so on. We were talking to them. We were not imposing anything. You cannot just tell a caregiver who's living in very difficult conditions that I want to do that. This will be very hard for them. They have a lot of things to take care of. They have a lot of responsibilities. They are living in very difficult conditions. So if you come and impose things on them, they will resist. So make sure you talk their language, you address their needs. And we need to start doing this at schools as well.
I think so. Yeah. It's especially for little ones.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of parents. I have a daughter who recently started primary school, so she is just over the preschool phase, and I cannot tell you how many times every recital or I don't know, Christmas carols or Secret Santa at school, all of these things were scheduled at like 10 a.m. on a Wednesday.
And you're a working mom.
And everyone is at work. All the parents are at work. And also the parents were extremely frustrated that they were not able to participate. That just created a negative cycle because the parent was frustrated because, of course, the parent blames the teacher instinctively.
Yes.
Then, in the end, it's not even the teacher's fault. In our case, in Italy, there's a lot of bureaucracy and there is an insurance problem with letting people in the school when it's not school time. So they needed to schedule everything during the school day. But during the school day is working time for the parents. But the parents were frustrated with the teachers get frustrated with the parents because maybe the teacher puts in a lot of work to organize this recital and then 6 parents show up.
Yeah, but then you have this unhealthy relationship and it's frustrating for the child. Most of the time we forget about the child. But this child should be the center and the focus of our attention, of our thoughts. We always have to remember that it is the child, it's not us, it's not them, it is the child. In the program, sometimes we had calls at 8 p.m. because it was time when the parent finishes work, back home, had dinner, is resting and now is ready to sit and listen to the teacher explaining the activities. So, yeah.
What type of activities were you proposing?
Okay, so we were...
Because you said you didn't ask any special material, you didn't ask to buy anything. It was all with objects that were just around every day. So it got me really curious on what type of activities.
Okay, we were focusing on holistic development. So we were doing social emotional activities, language activities, math activities. Like for example, for counting, like bring anything from home, like they can count the spoons at home. For like psychomotor activities, you don't have to go and buy Play-Doh. We taught parents how to prepare Play-Doh at home with 3 simple ingredients. Like for teaching your child about their emotions, you just need a piece of paper and a pen and you can draw the emotions and teach your child about the emotions. For language, you can use Play-Doh to do the alphabets. It was like very simple. For science, very simple experiments like mixing two ingredients from whatever is available in your kitchen. You don't have to buy any material. You don't have to worry about having the material to be able to do the activities with your children. No more stress. They have enough, so we did not want to stress them more, just from whatever you have at home, and we were guiding them on how to use the material that is available at home. And one interesting thing that I would like to share, that older children were joining the calls with their parents, and they were sitting with their younger siblings to do the activities because it was really fun. They are playing, they are exploring. And we also guided parents that free play is part of learning. Just let your kids be playing freely without giving them any instructions, let them explore. So also this was really helpful.
It's very important. This is a topic that comes out very often when I talk with preschool teachers, because you know how they say, not to raise children, you need a village.
Yeah.
And it used to happen that we did have a village. It used to be the case that when a child came to the world, it came surrounded by a lot of extended families, and everyone had a lot of experience with children before. Children were just part of a family's life. So when it was your time to have a child, you have all of this support behind.
Yes.
And not only logistical support, but also experience support.
And emotional support.
Emotional support. And what I have found is that one of the things that is lacking is that shared knowledge of how a child is and what child needs. And it's just now, when I had my daughter, she was the first, not the second newborn that I have ever held. And I had never interacted with small babies intensively. Meaning, sure, you have a distant cousin that had a child, you go and say hi, you say, oh, very cute, and then you give it back. But you don't know things. And so one of the things, for example, of the preschool systems that work very well is that they recognize that today we do need to explain to parents. A lot of things that we used to give for granted that people knew, and teachers who work in preschool field know because it's their field.
Yes.
But a parent is very often left to some social media education about parenting.
Which is very dangerous because anyone can publish anything on social media. And sometimes when I watch reels on Instagram, because this is my background, I like, what's this? Come on, what's happening? You cannot share this with parents. This is wrong. This is misleading. So yeah, it's becoming. And I think that one misconception at schools that they look at parental involvement as only like attending parents' meetings and events at school. It's much more than this. It's communication with parents. It's as if educating parents, providing them with the emotional support needed. So it's not just events, meetings, celebrations. It's way beyond that.
And for small children, supporting the parents equals supporting them.
Yeah.
Meaning is
again, the child is
the child.
It is about the child. It's not us, it's not them, it's the child.
So what is, do you think, the most important lesson that you have learned in this very challenging path that you have been on, that now you feel that you can share with the teachers that come to your courses at Europass? Because you had a very unique experience.
Yeah. Just believe in yourself. Teachers can do great things. They just have to believe in themselves and in their job. Like, just again, look at teaching as something you can do to change how children feel, how children learn. So it's not just about going to the classroom and teaching the lesson by the book. Listen to your hearts. Look at those children. This is something I used to tell to my students, first year students at the university. Never look at the child as only a mind that you need to feed. This should never be the case. Children, look at the whole child. Children have emotions, they have needs. Yeah, they need to learn the ABC, they need to learn to count, but consider their emotions, consider their well-being, their needs, and you will do a great job.
Yes, this I think is especially visible in those emergency circumstances.
Yes.
But I think that sometimes we forget how important this is also in everyday circumstances, because sometimes we think about priorities. No? What is the priority? And sometimes it's very easy to think that the priority is academic outcome, academic results. And so if that is our priority, then it's very easy to sacrifice things that are actually very important.
Yeah, this is a message for school leaders, school principals. Please, it's not about finishing the curriculum.
School leaders, it's not about the curriculum.
Coordination meetings should never be like, finish, where are you from the curriculum, which week, are you on track? It's much more about this. Learning is never happens by the book.
Exactly, but I really love the fact that you were saying we didn't want to add stress for the parents. We didn't want it to be a performance. We wanted to be play-based. We wanted to support the whole family, it seems. This is what it comes from your words.
And it cannot be the case for a 6-year-old child to leave school at 2, arrive home at 3, have lunch, and then study till 6:30 or 7. This is stressful for the child, it's stressful for the parents. It should never be the case. So the afternoon should be the time where you meet with your child, do simple activities, just to read a story, watch a movie together. It shouldn't be like finishing a worksheet. What's the added value for doing the worksheet in the classroom and then having another worksheet to finish at home? This is stressful for the child and for the parent.
Do most teachers that come in your courses see this as a problem, or do they really enjoy focusing on the curriculum and on homework?
I think we're still stuck. We need more work on changing how teachers think, but we're on the right track.
Yes?
Yeah.
And what is the one thing that you would change in how, because we meet a lot of teachers.
Yes.
No?
Yes.
So what is one thing that you would like to say to all of them?
Yeah. Look at professional development as an opportunity for growth, for learning, for sharing experiences, not as an additional task that you need to complete. Capacity building activities are for you, and they should never be perceived as an additional workload or on your to-do list. Enjoy, learn, ask questions, keep growing. Learning never ends. It should be a lifelong journey. You should never say that I have 15 years of experience, I have 20 years of experience, I know everything. No one knows everything. It's learning. Every year you learn something new. You're having different children.
Children are changing.
Yes.
Families are changing.
Families are changing. Everything is changing. Now, we have 10 years ago, AI was never known for teachers. Now everyone is using AI. So everything is changing. Make sure you're learning.
Siwar, it was a pleasure to talk with you. You really have this unique experience that I was very interested in from the get-go, because again, we see a lot of teachers, and teachers struggle with the same things even wherever they're teaching. And so it was very interesting for me that you managed to overcome such real and difficult challenges, and you managed to create this successful play-based distant learning in a very challenging situation. And I think it's a very inspiring story, and I hope it will inspire especially the preschool teachers and the kindergarten teachers. Every time we meet them in our courses, the biggest complaint is always about parents and always about how hard it is to build collaboration with them. And everything that Siwar said is absolutely true. It's not about imposing, and it's about finding a way that works. At least here in Italy, we have this platform that we use to communicate with the school, and you can only use that platform, and it doesn't work well, and it constantly log out, so it don't receive the notification. So the way it works is that when one parent sees the notification, sends a WhatsApp to all the parents to say that there is this is not effective communication, and it makes everything harder and frustrating. So look for ways to make communication easier.
Exactly.
I have seen, I remember I saved this in my Instagram feed. I saved this idea. There was a teacher who had stickers to put on kids' clothes. So there is a communication in the registry. So the kid got home with a sticker like, Mom, Dad, check the school platform, because there is a communication. You need to find something that works. Because if the parent sees that effort, if the parent sees that the school wants to communicate with them, wants to interact with them, they will be much more willing and open. But sometimes as parents, you have the feeling that school is doing everything to make it hard.
Yeah.
And that is a frustrating feeling, and doesn't put you in the mood for bending over to collaborate.
And parents do not need any more stress. They have enough to deal with. Yeah.
But again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I hope that everyone found it as interesting as I did. It was a pleasure talking to you, Siwar. And our participant can find you in which location again?
In Brussels and Ghent.
Brussels and Ghent.
Yeah.
Perfect. I will have to come and pay you a visit soon as well. I have never been in neither places. So
okay, so you're welcome.
It's about time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.